to Dumela America podcast. This is a special and a surprise episode. As you saw, we didn't advertise for it. So this is basically just an episode to reflect and say goodbye to a face that you've seen on this podcast. He's hosted from the very first episode to the Botswana episode to our Paylib participants. So today the camera has turned around on him. He's getting the fire of the questions. So what's up, Dom?
Wow, no, thank you so much, Kato. It's so odd not to start off with hello and welcome to Dumela America. Dominick and Kato here for another exciting episode of XYZ. But no, it's fantastic to be on the show today and to be able to talk about my last 2 years in Botswana as the Deputy Public Affairs Officer here at the U.S. Embassy in Botswana, and all the amazing things that our mission has been able to accomplish, together with the people of Botswana, with, all the wonderful staff we have working for us here at the embassy, and to make America and Botswana better and stronger together.
Absolutely. And we have had a very good 2 years. One of the things that we are definitely proud of is this very podcast. So Dom, for those of you who don't know you, would just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from in the US, and what brought you to Botswana?
Sure, absolutely. So I am a American diplomat here. My role is to be a public diplomacy officer. And as I describe that for a lot of people, like a traditional diplomat, when you think of a diplomat, they're in these government meetings, talking about stuff behind closed doors. And as I see it, a role of a public diplomat, it's not necessarily always to be a person who talks between my government directly and representatives of another government, but to be kind of an envoy between the people of my country, the United States of America, and the people of Botswana directly, to make those connections between Americans and Botswana, and just to bring people together to make those connections. And so in my job and my role here at the embassy, that is the main thrust of what I want to do. And in terms of this show, is a natural extension of that, right? Is to have a way to bring on Americans and Botswana people, to have them come together and have these conversations about whatever we want to talk about that is of bilateral interest. And so we're doing that a little bit today. It's what we've been doing, behind the scenes for years in our exchanges, and basically everything we do, from the furthest point down south of Gaborone, Lobatse, all the way up to Shikawe and overseas.
Yeah, speaking about Shikawe and overseas and just every part of Botswana, you have done a little bit of travel around, both professionally and personally. Could you tell us a little bit about your travels around Botswana, and how was that?
How much time do we have? No, seriously. Botswana is one of those countries where many Americans don't know the scope and size of it. This is a country about the size of Texas, one of our largest states in America, which with a kind of environment really similar to Texas, actually, with the population the size of Brooklyn. And so to get to the people where they live, you have to travel vast distances. And I've always loved that traveling and what you see, what you experience along that way. So within weeks of arriving here to Botswana in 2023, it was summertime on the eve of the Nkashi Classic. And Ambassador Van Franken, that was one of his priority things to do. He wanted to experience that. And he asked me to come along. And we made a lot of great visits to, the DWNP with stakeholders there who are working on preserving the environment, who are, building bridges between our two countries. And also to experience this cultural touchstone in Botswana, the Nkashi Classic. Yeah, I left that thinking, I want to, race in this someday. I want to build a Mokoro, pull around and practice. And I never got around to actually doing it. Yeah, that's a regret. Bucket list item not completed. But seeing the how that brought the community together, how that served as a potential avenue for exchange of culture, because there have been more than one movie. The National Geographic Society,
Yes.
their film, arm, has done movies about, and this is an American company, owned by Disney, I believe,
Yes.
that is seen an interest in the partnerships between America and Botswana in the film sector, in using, this wonderful world in the Okavango, the life there, the stories from there, and then bringing and sharing that with American audiences, which I think, me as an American, terribly interested in that, and so that was one of my first trips in Botswana, is to the
That was
Delta.
a great start.
It really was. That was really hard to one up that one.
Yeah.
But somehow, I think I might have found a way. So that was one very memorable trip, and to see that, experience that. And later on, maybe some folks might have seen me around Gabs or around the country on my motorcycle. That's one of the ways I really have enjoyed exploring Botswana, is to be there in the open air, riding around.
And there's lots of open air.
There is
so
lot of
much
open areas.
Vast spaces.
And a lot of off-road areas.
Yes. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and so that was one of the true highlights of my 2 years here, is going on rides to rural parts of the country, up through, Sorowe, the hills around there, through Selbe Peakway, all the way out to the Tule Block, some amazing wildlife out there.
Yeah.
And to be going on these off-road trails, and to just stop at a village, it's hot, thirsty, stop at the little, kids on the side of the road selling ice creams, just stop and get out and chat for a little bit. And to get to know, because, Americans, very often when they come to Botswana, they're here for tourism purposes. They're up in Chobe, they're in the Delta. And going to some of these other places, it's a chance to, hey, I'm an American, I'm traveling around, enjoying your country. Let me learn a little bit from you, and let me just chat. And that is public diplomacy, I think. At its heart, is sharing my experience as an American with people of another country, and to make that impression good, that, hey, I might be one of the few Americans they might have come through their village. And so it has always been wonderful to just come and share these little moments.
Absolutely.
As I've been traveling around. So.
Yeah. One of my favorite trips that we were actually on together was the Palape trip, where we went to visit the Botswana ground station. I mean, Botswana is truly like a historic moment in Botswana, so launched by SpaceX, an American company.
Yeah.
So that was one of my favorites.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Thanks for
just exploring that U.S. Botswana connection, like even outside the government, was a great opportunity, and it was unreal to be there at the actual place where it was conceived, and looking forward to the others.
And I'll just have to jump in a little bit on that.
Yeah, sure.
What I thought, as soon as we arrived there to the campus, I hadn't spent a lot of time on the Buse campus, and just driving in, I felt an energy there, right? This is a place where people are like focused on learning, on innovating, on inventing, on making things, right? And some college campuses, you don't feel that, but on the Buse campus, you could tell that there's some special things happening there.
Absolutely.
That's indigenous to Botswana, that is leveraging the connections with the United States in the case of the space program, some of their AI development labs on the Buse campus, which are partially funded through United States government funding. And you also get a feeling of how special, the work going on there. There's an energy. It's like a startup energy, and it's stepping in and hearing from the brilliant folks behind Botswana's space program. It's like, wow, this must have been a little bit of what it was like in the early days of, for instance, NASA in the United States. You could feel the excitement. They're building something. Did you get that vibe too?
I did. And I liked the fact that the technicians were like young people who would continue building that. And the people were excited. They're very passionate when talking about the the whole experience. So that was
And
great.
just
That was a good time.
hungry, just what's next?
Yeah.
When's Botsat 2
Yeah.
coming, you know? So, and that whole space exchange, it was really, I think, a really wonderful moment in the bilateral relationship. You know, President Boko went to, you know, visit surrounding that launch,
Yes.
met with the U.S. Secretary of State, and
That was a big moment.
and it's through this commercial, you know, space engagement in a sector prioritized by both, you know, America and Botswana that, you know, help facilitate, you know, that meeting and those connections, which I think to this day are still, you know, paying good dividends in that relationship. So it's all one beautiful thing just came together.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take it to the very, very beginning, Dom. You're fresh from the U.S. Had you been in Africa before at all?
When I came to Botswana, it was the first time
Yeah.
I've stepped foot on the continent.
So that moment where you're getting off the flight, setting foot at Sesratsakama International Airport, what was your first impression? What were you thinking?
One, it is so cold. I
Really?
didn't think it would be that cold. I arrived in almost a year ago. It was July,
Okay.
2 years ago, you know,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
exact time. And so, you know, you're thinking, oh yeah, you know, it's Africa, it's going to be hot. You know? And so I'm from Florida in the United States, also a very hot place. That's where I was coming from. So I'm coming
Okay.
from the 90 plus degree heat,
Yeah.
you know, what's that in C? It's like, you know, 20, high 20s heat, right? And it's like, ooh, it's cold. But and once I got over that, it's like there's so much opportunity. There's so much things that are developing, that
Very
are
true.
moving, and the potential and the energy behind it was what I was struck with almost right off the bat.
Yeah.
So many of those initial conversations with people from Botswana were, here's this idea that I have and that I want to work with you on developing for the benefit of, you know, what I want to do here, but also that could benefit, you know, the United States, the embassy, the relationship. And that first impression certainly played out in reality. And all the wonderful, you know, grantees that we've worked with, all the programs we've, you know, put together, you know, over the years. And one that sticks out was just last year in November. So I had the wonderful opportunity to get to know some wonderful folks in the media, largely thanks to you, you know, starting off.
Welcome.
An introduction. We had it over at the Orange Building, you know, meeting a lot of the content creators.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
hearing how, hey, here's how we need to monetize our business. Here's how we need to connect, you know, American, you know, record labels and industry with, you know, the talent here in Botswana, and just, again, continue making this beautiful stuff together, right?
Yes.
And so, you know, from that kind of segued into, you know, just feeling that I've got a part in this stuff and being able to help build something. And that kind of came to I think, really beautiful focus point this past November with the Next Level Hip Hop program that we did here. We partnered with one of our, with some huge local talent, you know, Scar, Abby.
Shout out, Scar.
Shout out, man.
Shout out, Bootycast.
Helped us, you know, put this production together where talented artists, graffiti artists from America, beat makers, hip hop artists came to Botswana. They set up workshops in Maun, helped develop talent there with some really, really up and coming, you know, great artists. Salty, you know, from up north.
Yeah.
And workshop there, and then came back down here and put on a wonderful concert at Malapo Crossing to showcase that talent, you know, here in Botswana in collaboration with American artists. And so, you know, thank you, you know, all the folks we worked with for just kind of bringing this group together to create, again, something new based on us working together to do that. So,
absolutely. I think for me, like you're saying, there's a lot of talent here in Botswana. There's a lot of entrepreneurs, people with wonderful ideas, and I'm really proud of the work that we do here at the embassy in bringing up all these programs that empower the people of Botswana, the Mandela Washington Fellows, who we just sent off to the U.S.
Yeah, shout out, guys. Hope you're doing well over in America. Can't wait to. I wish I was here when you got back, but I'll say hi one way or the other.
Yeah,
Okay?
maybe you'll meet at the airport.
I hope so.
Probably not. Yeah, so it's great that we get to do this work together. Also, you played a huge role in helping us get through these projects and just get them moving. So, yeah, it's been wonderful working with you and having you here in Botswana. And we've enjoyed seeing how you interact with the people, so yeah.
Well, it's not just me. I'm confident in saying that most American diplomats, much like myself,
Yes.
are super eager, whether or not they're a public diplomat or not, are eager to get out and meet the people who are at the core of this bilateral relationship between our two countries, right? And,
Absolutely.
And thanks to you and all the staff here in our public diplomacy office for making that happen, because it wouldn't happen otherwise. So for everybody listening, you might see, us Americans out there, we work every day with a really talented team of dedicated, staff members who are at the core of things, are working for the same things that I think we all hope for, is for a better future for our own countries and a better future together with our country.
Stronger together,
as we say.
Absolutely. So just to narrow things down a little bit, what would you say was your most memorable time or moment in Botswana?
There's so many.
Pick one.
All right. So I would say it was camping on the Mahadahari.
Okay, that sounds awesome.
It was, there was, sometimes you go to a place and you feel just this spiritual connection between, the earth and yourself and God, or whatever deity you choose to believe in. And just camping out there on the pans, endless stars, just white, blank canvas of earth in every direction. And that was the best night of sleep I think I've had in recent memory. I was sleeping on the ground, but it was the most comfortable I've felt. And so for anybody who, hasn't been out there, it is a special place on this earth, with baobab trees growing, from, and also that was just to segue a little bit. One of my bucket list items was to visit as many 2,000-year-old or older baobab trees as I could, because there are so many stories about these trees, and they're so unique and special. So on that trip, I also got to see a couple of them out there. I never made it to Kubu Island, unfortunately, but there's a lot of other big ones out around there. So I would say that was extremely memorable, and I feel very, personally blessed and fortunate to be able to experience a part of your country, in the course of my duties here in Botswana, and be able to do that and see that. Yeah,
that truly does sound great, and now it's on my bucket list.
You have to do it. A wonderful place is up north, Nata. Have you been around there?
Yes, I have been to Nata.
There's also these.
That's where the Makari pens are, just around that area.
Yep. Yeah, and there's a unique population of what are those animals called? Meerkats. Yeah, that live there.
The friendly guys.
They're friendly guys, and that was also pretty special to be able to, kind of see that. You see these big, game animals always. There's also plenty of small animals that are uniquely special, and that was pretty cool to be able to.
Did you get one to sit on you?
I did. It was a cold morning, and so they came up close and just huddled up next to me. I just as still as I could.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, hi. Wow. And it is, these are wild animals, mind you. Don't touch them. But, it was also fascinating to see that part of things, too. The small side of the game and everything.
Absolutely. Apparently, if you, sit still long enough, they can come. A lot of people, actually, when they go that side, they make sure to get a picture with it sitting on you, because they're really friendly. Okay, just to get a little bit more serious now, what would be your hopes for the U.S. and Botswana relationship going forward?
Keep going. Let's go. there's been, you've probably heard me, in the office when something awesome happens, and a lot of that has happened. I'll just yell, "Let's go!"
He does yell.
For instance, when
With a mic sometimes.
yeah, when Botsat took off, I think it was on a weekend, and I was, just watching on my computer, and also kind of that we were streaming it on our page, and when it took off, and I was sure that it made it, I was like, "Yes, let's go!" And just other things, even small wins. When, for instance, we say we really want to get a program set up that would help connect, members of the public or leaders in Botswana with Americans. So anytime we'll say, hey, we have we have funding or availability for just one other person from Botswana to come visit the United States and participate in one of our programs, and I'll get an email that might say, hey, yeah, we can send one more person. I'll just jump up and go, let's go, yes! We one person at a time, one exchange at a time, one shared experience at a time. And anytime we can do that and keep doing that, that's wonderful. To build these exchanges on the commercial front, and they can help make life more prosperous for Americans, Botswana alike. Botswana. Let me correct my pronunciation there. Yeah.
Botswana. Yeah, that's great. Okay, just to close off our show, unfortunately, let's do just a quick fire round.
Lightning round. Let's go. All right.
So I'm gonna take you then. What's your favorite Setswana word?
Well, it's part of the name of this podcast. And as I've learned, it's Dumela, Dumelong, variations on it.
Yes.
Thank you, Elliot, our producer, for helping me understand that difference. But it's hello, it's good morning, and so Dumela.
I've also enjoyed how you say like thank you in Setswana.
Keleboha.
Yes.
Yes.
Then that's my favorite one for you.
I just spit it out. Yeah.
Okay, and the one place in Botswana where do you think everyone should visit? Botswana, Americans, any other?
So because I've already given a huge plug to the Maharahari, well, that one's set aside. That one's out of the running. The next one will be the Delta. Go there. It is a special place, but also close second, the Tuli Block. That I think is it's a little bit more rough around the edges. Not as many tourists go there, but there's a place called Solomon's Wall. It's this natural formation where
in Botswana?
In Botswana, where a cliff essentially of the earth. It was like a solid wall of rock that over time pulled apart, and the river, the Limpopo, goes through it. And it's like it looks like somebody built it, but no, it was a
God
creation
built it.
of God, there. And pulling up there, I couldn't cross the river. I was trying to, but the river was running a little bit too high to get across. Then there's elephants hanging out in the distance, and it's like, whoa, this is also a special place. So
incredible.
Neat.
Okay. Last question. What is a song that will always remind you of Botswana?
So we're going back to the early days. There's something in psychology, I guess, where some of the first music you hear sticks with you when you're experiencing something new. And so it was Kosaranga.
Kosaranga.
Kosaranga by, I think, Cool Cat, right?
Yeah, shout out Cool Cat.
Shout out to Cool Cat. It was on that trip that I mentioned earlier to the Nkashi Classic.
Yes,
and it was,
yes.
Part of that film, I believe.
It was a soundtrack to the film.
And I heard that maybe a dozen times when I was there. And so whenever I'm flying into Maun or doing anything around there, that is literally the soundtrack in my head of what I'm doing. If you think of your life as a movie and you're walking through the streets and I'm in that part of Botswana, that is literally the soundtrack in my own head. So
that is actually like a very favorite song of mine too. It's very nostalgic. He's talking about how he grew up, so it's like it's a perfect song.
Yeah.
So as we close off, Dom, do you have any last words for Botswana, for anybody who might be tuned in, for our viewers who have come to get used to you on the podcast but won't see you anymore? Do you have any last words for us?
No, man. Sky is the limit between, America and Botswana and what we can do together. And, you know, I hear a phrase like, how you doing, man? I'm trying. Keep trying, never stop, never give up. No matter what you're trying to do, you'll break through eventually, even if you think what you're doing is hard. And from all the folks I've talked to, like going from initial seed of an idea to watching it bloom into this, whatever it is, like initiative or project or invention, it will happen. So, hey, just like what was it? To quote Star Wars, you know, Yoda, very wise man,
little man.
Right? Do or do not. There is no try. So you might be trying, but really what you're doing is you're doing. So
Absolutely.
I'll leave with that.
Yeah. Sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit.
Thank you, Dom.
Thanks, Gato.
Hope we'll get to see you again on this podcast, but we don't know.
Oh, I hope so. As they say, you know, it's never goodbye. It's till next time.
Till next time.
Till next time.
And that was our episode. Tune in. We'll keeping on with Dom gone, but thanks for tuning in. Till next time.